it's never about the destination. It is always about the journey, because in my experience and from talking to a lot of people, the destination is never what you expect, but the journey is the beautiful part.
Ready to embark on a journey of boundless creativity, purpose, and adventure as an artistic soul? Hey, I'm Lara Bianca Pilcher. I'm passionate about empowering artists like you to live out your creative dreams and nurture yourself at the core of your artistic journey. Let's explore the art of vibrant living and creative expression. As an artist, actor, writer, and showbiz educator with over 20 years of experience in the arts and entertainment industry across the globe, London, Australia, and now Atlanta, USA, I'm here to guide you through the mess and magic of this ever-evolving creative life. From performing on TV, film, and stage to roles both on and off stage, my journey in the arts has woven a diverse tapestry of experiences. This positions me to help you navigate the path to unlocking the full potential of your artistic soul. Alongside my auditions, submissions, and industry hustles, I've had the privilege of educating artists and living a joyful marriage with 2 wonderful kids. Expect genuine conversations from real-life lessons, struggles, and triumphs that have shaped my journey. It's a journey I'm excited to share with you. This is your masterclass in how to craft a fulfilling, vibrant, and art-filled life. Get ready for the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise Artist podcast, your key to unlocking the full potential of your artistic soul. Stay tuned for enlightening conversations, practical tips, and inspiring stories that will elevate your purpose, adventure, and creativity. Let's go. Welcome to another episode of Healthy, Wealthy, Wise Artist Podcast. I have an amazing guest today, remarkable artist Kirsty Fuller. As a professional performer with credits like 42nd Street and Crazy for You, Kirsty's journey from the West End in London to Broadway, New York, is an inspiring adventure filled with auditions, triumphs, and the kind of resilience that every artistic soul can relate to. Listen for the divine thread in her story. I have a saying, do the work, then trust the unfolding. Let it inspire your own story, because we talk about New York living as an artist, making new friendship circles, audition tips, mental fitness, her side hustles, discovering artistic cultural differences, unexpected romantic encounters, that's fun, divine alignment, creating a beautiful life rhythm, and how to elevate your mindset. I first crossed paths with Kirsty in London when I was producing an arts event. Fast forward, and we're now calling the USA our home. Kirsty is proudly claiming the title of a New Yorker. Her journey started at 3 when she first discovered her love for dance. By the time she was 7, she was already a regular on the stage. By the time she was 13, she is venturing off to Edinburgh Fringe. But at 18, she temporarily closed the door to her dreams. She went on to study exercise health and nutrition at university and then travelled the world. And one transformative chapter for her was in the USA, where she worked at a weight loss and fitness summer camp. Something happened in that, a divine encounter that changed the direction of her life. She soon auditioned and was invited into an intensive college after several years away for performing. She began her comeback, determined she regained her skills, honing them to the highest standard, and during that time she saw her sister excel in many amazing shows, and she knew what was expected of her. With eyes on the Rockettes in New York, she laced up her tap shoes and embarked on a journey that included a cruise ship, a whirlwind of singing and performing and refining her craft, and eventually securing an agent. And during this journey, Kirsty's path eventually crossed with the legendary Randy Skinner, an American dancer, director, and choreographer primarily for the stage, who announced that he was bringing 42nd Street from the West End to the USA. Despite struggling to get in the audition room, Kirsty knew this show was meant for her. She took matters into her own hands, messaged Randy, and told him, "I can't get into the audition room." Not exactly in those words, but the rest, as they say, is history. Kirsty's story is a testament to the unwavering determination and resilience of a true artist. So, without further ado, I'll let Kirsty take the stage and share the next part of her incredible story. Welcome, Kirsty, and please take it away from here. What happened next?
I'll share this story because I think it's amazing. I remember ringing my agent and saying, I really should be in. Like, is there any way you can keep pushing for me? And they're like, we're doing the best we can. And I was like, thank you so much. Um, they said, why don't you try using your contacts? So I messaged Randy and just said, hi, Randy, I'm really struggling to get in the room. If there's any way you might be able to let me have a space in the audition, I would love this opportunity. And I remember getting off the phone to my agent, messaging, then speaking with my best friend. And I just said, her name is, I call her Jay-Z, Jay Millie. I said, Jay-Z, I don't know. I just know I'm meant to be in this, but this just feels like a closed door. I've been praying and I've really been asking God for a sign to hold on to this. And she was on a train. She was like, Kirsty, I just stopped. And like, there's this huge billboard saying, Stephen welcomes you. And the casting director was called Stephen.
Oh,
And
wow.
no joke, I literally, I was on the phone to my friend when she was saying this, and then my agent started ringing me. And then it was that quick that suddenly my agent was like, you've got an audition. So I did that. I was like, oh, thank you, God. I just wanted this opportunity just to be seen, just to kind of give this a go. And then had the many different rounds as you do, many rounds of going in, dancing, singing, coming back, dancing, singing. And then I got that. So then I had this West End show that I was coming back to. I went to do my panto and knew I was coming back to start this amazing show with this amazing creative team. So that was just the kind of start of my journey. And then it's just been these beautiful blessings along the way of just provision. And I need to remember this too. It's just like God always provides for me. And there's the amazing connections you meet along the way and how helpful that is. And Randy's been a close friend ever since. And long story short, what I'm doing now, I've just finished doing another version of 42nd Street, a very scaled down version. In the West End, we had at least 25 girls in the ensemble, a very big group. I think it was 25. I was swinging that, so I was swinging a lot of girls. Um, and then this one was 5. So we only had 5 in the ensemble. It was a very small, it was on a tiny stage, a very iconic stage called Goodspeed Opera House in Connecticut. And it was tiny and it was a new version. So I got to be his dance captain on this show and swing it as well and just see the ins and outs of this show. So that was wonderful, having that bigger perspective and then having the smaller perspective. And then, yeah, so I come back to a bit of mid of the story. After doing 42nd Street in the West End, I was like, I know I think I'm meant to be coming to New York. That's where I feel like I'm meant to be going. I feel called to. And then I had to go through the process of getting my visa, which, as you know, is not an easy process. You have to go through many different hoops and provide a lot of evidence to suggest that you're worthy of getting
Yes.
this visa. So over time, I managed to get various different people to vouch for me and just say of what I'm like and whether they would work for me again and provide all this stuff from when I was like 3 and 7, doing newspaper articles and many different things to prove that I was been doing this for a while. And yeah, so then I got my visa. And then obviously the pandemic happened. I came to New York
That's right.
January of 2020, and then I then auditioned and got a show very quickly. Funny enough, with the choreographer from London who I always wanted to work with, that didn't get that job way back when I first auditioned. And then I auditioned when he came to America to do the show, and I was going to do his version of a show. And then obviously that didn't happen because of the pandemic. So I ended up coming back. And as we all know, that took a bit of time to come back. But slowly, I managed about a year and a half later, managed to get back to the US after that little stint of time at home, which again was a huge, great time of reflecting, reevaluating what's going on. And I changed so much in that time too. And then came back to New York and have since been working and looking forward to this next show that I'm going on to.
Oh,
So
congratulations for that.
yeah.
So would you say that the exhilarating moment when you first came to the Broadway musical theatre scene
Mm.
after West End was kind of all linked together with the UK experience. Is that what happened for you?
Yeah, and I think the fact that I was exposed to an American creative team in the West
Mm.
End show was so helpful because and I
Mm.
had glimmers of that by doing the Rocket Summer Intensive and understanding that they work slightly differently, and even just how they do shows with all the numbers and the Bible. It's just very different to what I was used to anyway. It probably has changed now since I've moved away, but yeah, I think it really set me up, and it's hand in hand. Like everything, I've since been getting jobs in the UK based on stuff I'm doing in the US. So I'm like flitting through. So it's been a lovely connection between the both sides of the pond.
Yeah, that is really cool because I was going to say too that you said you had the dream of being a rocket,
Mm,
and that was kind of what initially brought you to America from London. So tell me about that journey. Did you have to let go of that dream? Is that still a dream, or have you found a joy in doing what you're already doing
yeah,
in
yeah.
42nd Street? Mm.
So I've definitely been doing like I love musical theatre. I love telling a story. I love to sing at the same time. I can't take that away from me. I'll always be loving that. But um, Rockettes is still on the horizon. It's still something I'm aiming for, and obviously we all hope that we would get something very quickly and it would all happen straight away. And that's just not my story. And I'm still going for it. I still audition. I'm still with everyone, going in, training, refining my skills. But what I will say is on this journey is through many different things, I've found so much more freedom and knowing myself that I feel like more at peace that if that never happens, it is okay. But I'm really excited to see the journey. And I think that has been a huge flip in my thinking, which is, I think, is, and I always suggest this to my clients and anyone that I teach, that it's never about the destination. It is always about the journey because
Mm.
in my experience and from talking to a lot of people, the destination is never what you expect, but the journey is the beautiful part. And I look back on my life so far and I think, wow, that journey was great. And even in the jobs, I was always busy thinking about what's next, what am I doing? But actually, that time was so precious doing those jobs or even waiting and training for those jobs. There's a lot of joy there. And so um, it is still a dream. It is still something I strive for and want to be working towards. And I owe a lot of to the Rocket training because it's really helped me as a dancer, as a performer, in the way that I hold myself, in the way that I like think about details of movement. So nothing is wasted at all. And
Mm.
I trust that if that is part of my story, it will happen. And
Yeah,
even if it takes time, that will be an encouragement to a lot of people because I
absolutely.
know
Yeah.
it's story upon story of people that took 10 years plus to get into the Rockettes and then were
Mm.
working till they're 40 plus doing it. You know, there's amazing women in that line that have been there for years and continue to
Mm.
have babies, do things with whilst being on the line. So um, there's that, yeah,
There's
I'm
hope,
excited
and
to see.
yeah,
There's
your
hope.
story
There's
is
hope.
not over, and I actually like
Yeah.
that because I think it's relatable and it's real because most performers I was chatting to someone in an earlier episode who had a dream of doing radio, and she's a voice artist, and she found a new dream, and it was a wonderful
Mm,
way of rephrasing. You have to go back and listen to the Heidi episode for those listening, voice artists, but it was just a really wonderful way of rephrasing our dreams. And I think it's important to dream, isn't it, as a
yeah.
performer? Incidentally, when we met at Project Dance that I was producing in London, Cheryl, who was the founder of that, was a rocket. So there's this
Yes.
interesting thread
Speaking.
that kind of goes all the way through, and
Yeah.
yeah, all the way through your story of. Yeah, and I do see that for you. I mean, you're perfect
Yeah.
for it. Yeah, let's move on to, UK to New York. It's not just a geographical shift, it's a whole new world. So
Mm.
pardon the pun of musical theatre world
Yeah.
songs. Could you share some of the challenges? So obviously, we had the pandemic and you also had visa, but what other challenges did you face during the transition from country to country? Or was there really no other challenges?
I think the big challenge was obviously being away from friends and family. That is always really hard. I love them dearly, and it's really hard to miss out on special times with them. So that is always a huge challenge, and I think will continue to be. And I'm so thankful for them to supporting me in all of this. I mean, I have met my partner being here in New York, so it's like a huge blessing, and that has helped the challenge because I've settled a bit more. Fortunately, my younger brother is also here in New York, so that's been a
Wow.
huge blessing too, just to have that family there. I think the challenge is obviously on my visa. I'm restricted to what I can do in terms of the normal work that we do on a day to day basis and what we can and can't do. I'm very restricted to that, to performing dance related stuff. Like other people would be able to just get any old job. That's really tricky. So I've been really thankful for the jobs that I have got that's keeping me afloat, really.
Mm.
So that's a huge challenge. I think also just slightly later in my life, creating a new friendship circle. That's been hard. Everyone is also transitioning. I'm now in my 30s and people are having babies, having changing, moving, and also in a city like New York, it's so transitional. People are
Yeah.
always moving around. So
Mm.
having that stability of friendships is really tricky too, I think, the challenge. Um, but I would caveat that with is there's nothing like walking into a dance studio, and even if you don't know them well, you just know people. And so
Mm.
there's a lovely community in the musical theatre world, that you're never alone. And
Mm.
if people are willing and you're vulnerable enough with people, you can have some really deep, good conversations and realize you're not alone. So that's a great blessing from a challenge. I think also just difference of cultures, how people
Mm.
have grown up, and the way as a as a person coming from the UK, I handle things very differently, and that can sometimes clash with people, or it's good with, and so it's just recognizing the different ways of managing and working with people because it's just different. And how I hold myself, how I speak, it's very different to what people are in America, and um, none is bad or wrong or anything. It's just different. It's just different.
I've got so many questions I'm going to draw out of all of the things you
Yes.
said because it's all so interesting. But you had this gorgeous like scene from a romantic comedy where you met your partner amidst all of these adventures. What was that? Just quickly, as a little caveat. What
Yeah.
was? How did you meet? Was it in New York?
It was. It's a little bit like a film, really, which is wonderful. So uh, in this before the pandemic, every summer, in the link on the Lincoln Center outside, they would have something called Midsummer Night Swing. This big swing dance event, outdoor event where people would swing dance. There would be a live music, beautiful, and you could go along and dance, or you could sit and just watch it. So one summer evening, I was there in New York. Actually, this was 2019 before I even moved with my visa. I was on a student visa at the time. And I sat on the wall, was just listening to this music. I actually started helping this lady up because she had a broken arm. I was helping this lady get up onto the wall. So obviously he could hear my accent. And then he was like, "Oh, hi. I studied in Oxford," if that's a catch line. um, and then we just got chatting, and then I was like, thank you for lovely chats. I'm going to go now." So I walked off, and he ran after me and got my number, and then
Oh, what a
that's
legend.
that's that's the and the story continues.
Imagine if he hadn't been that brave and taken
I
that risk.
know. And
That's
also all
special.
the things that he might not have been there that evening. Just
Mm.
his story and all the things that allowed him to be there. And I'll share a little bit. Like he was meant to take this job. He was in having like a dinner with this person who's going to take a job with, and then heard the music nearby and was like, "Oh, what's that?" Oh, and then he went to go a couple of nights later. He went back to go and see it. So you just never, you just never know that this could happen. but it did, and we met randomly, and
What you're saying though is really beautiful, because what it says to me is like when you have an openness and you know, we look up from our
curiosity.
phones and a
Mm,
curiosity and you know, there's a lot of places in the world that you can't go and experience such an incredible cultural experience, like you know, dance and all of that
mm,
whole. It's like going back in time, and it's just
yeah,
mesmerizing. And
yeah.
you know, to go out and to be a part of something where it's a relaxed place, no one's rushing. It's a
Funny, in
lovely
New York,
story.
yeah.
Yeah, in New York. Yeah, that's so true. There was this definitely a big yay of alignment, I like to say, when you
Yes.
returned to New York City with your visa and you booked a show. Was it just 2 days after arriving? Is that
Yeah,
right?
it
So
was.
did you like, how did you celebrate that amazing moment in your life? Did you celebrate? Did you stop to go, "I need to go and celebrate this"?
Wow, I was just like, "Oh, I can't believe this. This is amazing," because I guess people have been like, "It's gonna be really hard, and it's gonna be,"
Yep.
and it's not. It's definitely challenging, but you just never know. You just gotta things can happen without the net tomorrow something could happen and you just never know, so like that's the hope, like it can happen like that, or it can happen like my journey of years and years of working towards something and it not happening for me yet. So it's like, yes, it was amazing and it was a huge shock, huge blessing. um did we celebrate? I think I was so shocked for a few days. I think we went out for a dinner and celebrated it. But yeah, it just, and then I had a few months before I was meant to go. So that was really nice to go, "Oh, I've got something now. I can just settle into the city, think
Yeah.
about all the other things, medical insurance, all those other things you need to think about
Find your
without
feet,
worrying, find
yeah.
your feet a bit without worrying too much that I need to be auditioning. Because that from January to May is the heavy audition season. So it's like
Mm.
auditions all the time. So in many ways, I was so thankful just to have something to hold on to be able to find my feet in that busy time.
Yeah, and when I mean, you're from the UK,
Mhm.
you're based in New York, but right now you're in Connecticut?
Oh,
No,
I was in Connecticut
you
doing
were.
42nd Street. I'm now back in New York.
So I don't know, like, how do you handle all the transitions and the transient life and being away, not just from the UK, but then you just get your roots in New York and you're away again. Was
Yes.
it a short trip away, or was that another challenge for you,
Yeah.
having
So
found love?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's tricky. Like last year, I was in two different shows, different places, and that was hard. Like I had like 2 weeks in between going off again, and the second one for 42nd Street was a longer stint. Um, but fortunately, Carlos, my partner, came out and was able to come with his job. He can work remotely,
Oh,
and so
very
he was
cool.
able to kind of spend a lot of time. And for what I'm really thankful for, because you get the highs and the lows during a contract, and I
Yeah.
really valued that support, which was wonderful. And it
Mm.
meant that we could see different places together. So that was great. But I definitely now I would my preference is to stay and to
Yeah.
have more stability, um, and work towards shows that are here. Not to say that I wouldn't go away, but I think now, as I'm getting older, I've done a few more shows, I think I'm a little bit more picky.
Mm,
What I want to
yeah.
take and what I want to do, and what my values are right now, and what's important to me, and creative teams who I'm working with.
Yes.
That really matters to me. So I'm a lot more uh, selective, let's say, what
That's
I like to
great.
do, and
Yeah.
that just helps me manage everything else and what I'm working towards. And even in the pandemic, I trained to be a coach, and that's something that, you mentioned your friend found other dreams and other ways of
Mm,
freedom. It's like that is part of our path. It doesn't, and that's what's actually brought me a lot of freedom in still pursuing the rockets, is that it's not my everything. There's other things too, so I can work on it with great passion, but it doesn't it's not it I've got other joys too that keep me
mm,
grounded in many ways. And so um, I'm loving having a bit more stability and working in that other fields to just have balance in my life and to
mm.
create some rhythms. I recognize in my life something that for me now is I want to slow my rhythm down, because it's so easy as a performer to be juggling many different plates, and it
Mm.
means that we don't maybe come to the things that are really important to us with much energy, or we're just too busy multitasking on many things. So I feel like I need to slow down my rhythms in order to do the things that are important to me well. So that's been a huge change, and I think being selective in many ways has helped me be able to have that control maybe of some kind of rhythm that I create, rather than the
Mm.
city and the profession creating my rhythm.
That's such a beautiful way of saying it, especially from a tap dancer as well. It's
Yes.
just so
Yeah.
gorgeous, the imagery of
Yeah.
slowing. And, I'm the same. It's like I've really worked hard to slow my rhythm down, and it's very quickly hijacked, and you have to intentionally stay. No, I want to slow it down, because
Mm.
life, it's not that you can't do a million things, and it's not that a million things are wrong, but it's the energy that we come
Yes.
to the things that really matter
Yes.
with, and that is gold that you just said that.
Mm.
Really beautiful imagery. So tell me too about audition season, which must be a mix of excitement and nerves. And can
Mm.
you share a memorable audition experience or any tips that you've picked up along the way in audition season?
I love being in auditions, and I think you see this more in dance auditions, because when you sing, you go on your own, so you don't see other people doing their stuff, apart from standing outside in your line ready to go in. But the praise and the celebration of other people, I love it when you see people in the room, and I get this a lot in America, even in dance class, is people like, yeah, that was so good, well done. You're like, oh yeah, this is great. And then you want to celebrate other people. So wonderful memories of being in auditions where people just like give you a huge round of applause after doing something, or like tap you on the back, like, yeah, that was awesome. Like, they're rooting for you. So I'm so thankful for that. That's amazing. And it's inspired me to want to do that too. Nothing will take away my audition process for the West End. That was obviously a first of many, and also my audition for the cruise ship, that you never know what could come from it. In fact, that audition will always be memorable, because I went into dance. I was like, yeah, I love this. This was so fun. I thought I did really well. Like, I'm really proud of myself. And then didn't get kept. I was like, oh no, what, did I do something wrong or anything? Anyway, um, I was like, oh, I'm really gutted, but they've got a singing round in a bit. I'm just going to go and sing. You know what? I'm just going to go and sing because I love it. And I don't like, they don't like me anyway. I'm just going to go and sing. I think that's probably my mindset. Um, I think I'd do it differently now. But I think at the time I was like, wow, I've got nothing to lose. I might as well just go and practice my singing and enjoy
Good
it.
on you. Yeah.
And I went in and sung, and they were like, wow, thank you for that. And then then they gave me the job as a lead singer, because at the time, I'm really like, the person that gave me the job, Andrea. I always be thankful for her. She said at the after speaking to her and doing rehearsals and spending time with her on the ship, she always said to me, she was like, it wasn't about your talent. It was about just like the logistics, the puzzles. Like, we just needed two smaller dancers, because we had other dancers that we just needed to match, and you matched perfectly with the other lead singer. So, so
Oh my
it was
goodness.
just like, oh, but at the time I was devastated. I was like, did I do something wrong? No. You went in there, you did your thing, you showed your joy, you did the best you could do. It was just the other pieces of the puzzle. Um, and yet I still went in, and I always think back, like, just go and do it because you love it.
Mm.
Like, don't. And maybe at the time I was trying to prove myself a bit, but actually there's a level of, oh, I've got nothing to lose. I might as well just go and sing and try out this, like, what it's like in an audition process. And so I think that'll always be a key to hold on to, is go in and just enjoy it. And I've had the best auditions when I've just let go and I'm just enjoying it. And it's more just about, I'm just going to give an expression of who I am and what I can do and what I'm like and what flavor I give. If you want that flavor in the show, great. If you don't, great. It's okay. I think it's helped that I've got other things that I love outside of that too, to then go, it's not my everything. I'm really passionate, and I will be there and give you all my attention in the moment, and and be curious and be creative with you. But um, I think people, even being on the other side of the table, you feel you experience the energy that people are giving off, that needy energy compared to that I'm free and I just love this. And if it's right, it's right. If not, it's okay. And I
Yeah,
think people attract to that more so.
they do. Yeah. That's actually beautiful what you just said. Um, to let go of that neediness. And that's a journey in itself,
Oh,
because at the beginning we want
completely.
it so bad. But when
Yeah,
you have some hard knocks, I think you learn eventually to let go of the control and the must have and the my whole identity is in this and who am I
yeah,
without this and find joy in other areas. And it's just a beautiful life journey, isn't it? To come to
it is.
release the dreams but still want them.
Yeah, the surrender while still passion, like for
Yes,
sure.
beautiful. Beyond Broadway and West End and performing, you're involved in teaching fitness, I guess, and tap.
Yeah,
So, how did these
yes.
activities feed your artistic journey?
It definitely keeps me active.
Yes,
That's
good.
one thing, which is wonderful. Um, it's another outlet for me just to express and uh, be big and bold, like in my classes. In many ways, for teaching dance, I just love encouraging people in what I'd want to have heard at the time and now. And I see even through my coaching and my mental fitness training that I've done and doing, I love being able to empower other people to see things from a different perspective and see the light switch in them to go, oh, hang on, if I focus and think about it like this, I open up myself to so many more opportunities or ways of working with my own body and self. Like we can be our own saboteurs, can't we? And so
Mm,
that is the greatest joy of teaching, particularly if I'm teaching tap dancing, because a lot of dancers I find I come across are really nervous about tap. And a lot of auditions are asking for tap nowadays. And then you have to tap one at a time. And so a lot of
been
my
there.
clients, yes,
Yes.
a lot of my students are people that are very strong in other areas of performing, but they just are very unconfident. So it is a huge privilege for me to come in and be alongside them and just build that confidence with them because they can do it. They just they just need to believe in themselves and just keep going with their skills and just understanding how their body works and just small consistent practice over time, as we all know,
Mm,
compounds to something great. So
that's
um,
good. Yeah.
it's it's
Mm,
it's great. I love teaching. It's very rewarding in many ways for me as well because
mm.
um, I I love encouraging people. I want people to be their best version of themselves. So it's a great outlet for me to do that, and hopefully it's a great thing for them too, and they get a lot from
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. I feel like it keeps you sharp too when you're teaching within the
yeah,
craft that you also do.
yeah,
That's something that I've always enjoyed, keeping my head in the zone, even when I'm not performing. Tell
yeah.
me about this gorgeous thing you said earlier. Tap dancing is about rhythm and musicality, but could
Mm,
you share how you developed your internal rhythm as like that sort of metaphor you had of slowing down
mm,
your rhythm and your internal rhythm and what it means to you regarding your art and tap. Like you've got this inner and outer thing happening there that I think is something we can learn from.
yeah. It's interesting what the beauty of the community of the tap dancers in New York is. Everyone comes and shares their own story and shares their story and combines their story and works with other people's stories and communicates in many different ways. And often people think tap to be really loud and banging your feet, but it doesn't have to be like that. It can be the quiet whisper, it can be the slow. Tap dancing is so powerful when there's space, like when you can hear the notes and the sounds and the tones that you're playing because you create a bit of space between. And that kind of same picture in terms of everyday living is like when we slow down and create space, we can actually hear things differently. We can see things differently. Um, we're still doing a rhythm and we're still playing something. We're still telling that story, but it doesn't have to be just one way. Um, and so I think the idea of space is really important. And that's what I talk to my students about in TAP, like create that space so people have a full stop. and a
Mm.
period, so then they can think about what you've just said and then respond. We're talking, we're communicating as we're dancing. So it doesn't have to be all rush and give everything out there. It's like, hold back a bit. Your community, let people have listen,
Yeah.
respond, call and response, um, and I think that if I use that picture in terms of my life and just life, is that we know that when we live amongst other people, and other people's rhythms are important too, and so you change your rhythm based on their rhythms too, and but then you want to create this internal rhythm that's right for you, and habits or routines that that help you and create a bit of space for you just to breathe and to kind of center yourself. Um, so in my life, that looks like for me, it works that I have certain routines that I do in the morning, and trying to build that in the evening too. So it's like I sandwich my day with that space, because um, just in case the world of New York City is loud and noisy
Yeah.
and run and busy, I have
Yeah.
I have those moments. But what I'm loving is trying to find in the moments of in between is where can I create space. And the challenge for me is how can I do less to actually
Mm.
do more? Like, um, I think it's the challenge also of living in another country with a time difference away from family. Like, how do I manage that too? Like, that I have
Mm.
to speak to people in the middle of my work day because that's a good time for them. So
Mm.
it's just going with the flow, trying not to be so rigid in how I have to do things, and just being a little bit more flexible, but having certain things that I know are my structures, that are kind of maybe my non-negotiables, that help me keep that flow of the rhythm throughout the day.
Absolutely gorgeous. Just such a beautiful expressed answer. Tell me too about the two different cultures that you know very well. Have you noticed any fascinating differences in the way that art and dance are perceived and expressed? And you said before about the culture of celebration in New York and cheering you on within the auditions. That's one, but what have you noticed as major differences and fascinating differences?
Hmm. I think partly because New York is the hub of so many things. If in tap dance, it's the hub of where things were created and were birthed through cultures coming together, but also just the history of the art form. And uh, we're fortunate enough in New York to have people that have lived and been mentored by people that have passed things down, and
Mm.
I think in London we don't have as much of that. In terms of, it's wonderful when they do come over and expose, and obviously since the pandemic we've been able to have more contact through Zoom, and that way, which is wonderful. In fact, at that time I was me and a dear friend of mine, Harriet, created something called Theatre Tap London, and it was an opportunity for us to help talk about the history of tap, expose people in London to that, and also connect people with amazing um, legends and mentors and master tappers that are in New York that we still have now, and who were mentored by legends of people,
Mm.
and just um, and uh, and obviously as a white woman, I don't understand the experience in the same way, but I am deeply loving just being amongst people and being in that community that they welcome so with open arms. The tap community is wonderful, and I learn, I just, yeah, learn from them, and kind of so back to your question, is that
Mm.
the difference is, I think New York has something special in that it's the hub of where things started, and that. But fortunately, more is moving over to London. People are
Mm.
traveling. People are having more connections, and we're telling stories. People are sharing their stories, and hopefully, we're listening more
Yeah,
to that.
that's so lovely. Can you tell me too? Every artist has a unique journey, as yours is with your culture, and now you've come to America, and you can see, the uniqueness of each artist's journey. Could you share a couple of the highs and lows you've experienced in your career path and maybe how you've navigated. Obviously, we've heard some of the highs, but have there been low lows and how have you navigated that?
Mm, definitely. Like, I mean, it's like that if we think about that wave and that rhythm of the long game, there's definitely the highs and the lows. But even in a day, there can be the highs and the lows. And I think a few things have helped me. I would never be able to do this without God. That's just my um, first. I just need Him. Um, and the tools that I've gained along the way through my coaching and even in my kind of mental fitness training, it talks about helping you not be hijacked by those quote thinking of things as bad or dwelling in those things that don't go quite right and kind of being hijacked in that space, but opening and seeing it as a gift and an opportunity to learn and to see it with curiosity, see it with love and compassion, see it with creativity, see it with um, just a different perspective to ideally mean that we won't be hijacked or we won't linger in those places for too long. So that has been a huge game changer for me. It's a
Mm,
whole new way of operating in my mind that has really helped me because of course I get hijacked in auditions. I can easily spiral down, but I feel like I've got the tools to then be able to go, how can I get myself back to that playful, curious,
mm,
compassionate, loving, joyful person that I am
that's
um,
so beautiful.
quicker.
Yeah.
So yes,
Mm.
there's lows and there always will be.
And
It's a
what's the,
human experience.
oh, of course,
Yeah.
yeah. What's the emotional fitness training you're referring to that you've done that's helped so much?
Yeah, so I have been training under someone called Shazad Shamin, who created this mental fitness, what he'd call an operating system, a very simple system of helping you understand your mind, um, understanding in the way that we want to build three muscles. We want to build the muscle of intercepting and recognizing when we're sabotaged. We want to build the muscle of the self command. How do we bring ourselves back into the present moment, back to our senses, rather than focusing on thoughts and too many feelings? Like, just focus back to our senses, back to the present moment, and then activate. And what he calls the sage perspective, like that region of the brain which is activated, which allows you to have curiosity, compassion, laser focused attention, joy. What else have I said? Ease and flow. And
Mm,
so he talks about how our mind, our brain, can either sabotage us or serve us. And it's a human experience that we all have and experience what he calls the judge and the saboteurs. The idea that we can experience those critical voices in us saying we're not good enough, or you should be doing this, you should do that, or that kind of perfectionist streak, or that hyper achieving. It's basically strengths of ours that have been overused and abused. And sometimes we can wallow and stay in that hijacked state. What I like to say, and other people have said, is like, the saboteurs are in the driving seat of your life right now. And
mm,
so, what we want to do is have tools to know how we can put ourselves back into the driver's seat from that other perspective, from that place of compassion, from that place of playfulness, from that place of curiosity and creativity, to calm the mind, calm the body, because we can get into that
mm,
stress, overwhelm, negativity. We have this negative bias to focus on that. So we want to
mm,
think about things differently. I know there's lots of studies about positive emotion, and Barbara Friedrichsen has done stuff where she talks about we have a negative bias for things. So for every negative emotion we experience, we want to find three positive emotions to kind of come with that, to help with that. So it's the idea of how can we access those positive emotions more, especially when we recognize we've been hijacked. So that operating simple system of mental fitness training that I've been training in and now train others in, it's just been a game changer. It's not
mm,
only really helped me in performing, see myself in the moment when I'm in an audition or even out of the audition and I'm kind of processing what's happened. It's helped me there, but it's rippled into other areas of my life, with my relationships, even my wellness, and being able to slow down. Because half the
Mm.
time I can't slow down because that saboteur of hyperachieving and having to do
Yeah.
things a certain way is speaking very loudly, and it's not allowing me to access
Mm.
another way. So that's kind of what has been a real flip on how I see things.
Mm.
And I'm excited to see how now I move in my journey with this way of operating, let's say.
Oh, it sounds just absolutely invigorating and gorgeous. And tell me too, with that in mind, what advice would you give your younger self,
Mm,
particularly around big issues for performers and artists in general, but around, maybe mental health, body image,
mm, mm,
harsh words and obstacles from people in power that we work with, rejections. Like, how have you sort of navigated that then versus now?
mm.
Well, we know the now is lovely, but
Yeah, yeah,
what would you say to your younger
yeah.
self? Mm.
It's a beautiful question, that is. Obviously, it's okay. It's okay. Your journey will happen. Be kind and compassionate with yourself along the journey. Um,
Mm.
that would be the first thing. Um, I'd probably tell myself, invest in your mind, in understanding your mind, because that is the gatekeeper to a lot of your being able to actually physicalize a lot of stuff. So I would probably encourage her to um, get help and get support on that, because support is everything. Accountability and support. Um, yeah, and don't be afraid of that. It's actually a huge strength. It's a huge strength to get the support. So go and get that help, and we all need it. You're not doing anything wrong. Um, it's just understanding yourself better, um, and then that will only help you unlock many other things along the way. So that's probably what I would tell my younger self, um,
Mm.
and that it's not all in your control.
Yeah.
I think just be reminded that God's got you.
Very good. Tell me
Mm,
too, with success that can be fleeting, how do
mm.
you maintain your momentum and keep yourself motivated when you've had a significant milestone and then it's over and that you're
Yeah,
back into the question zone of,
yeah,
oh, what's
yeah.
next?
Yeah, I think what's helped me is always reflecting what's really important, and because it's always very tempting to go and chase after the next thing, the next thing,
Mm.
the next thing. Oh, because of this, I have to go to this next show. But just sit with where you're at. I had many a talk to some of my best friends that are just having some downtime, having what we kind of call a sabbatical, just going, who am I? What? Because the show schedule is ruthless in many ways, in that it's 8 shows a week. You're in rehearsals during the day. It's a lot on your body, your mind, and you miss out on many different things along the way, and so sometimes you need a break.
Yeah,
And so that is okay.
that's actually a really great answer in itself.
Reach out if I can be of any support to people along the way. I'd love to chat with you. I think if I can support in understanding your mind and just the process of life in that way, I'd love to support you. I wish I had that. I wish I had that. And then back to my younger self, I hope that I can be that to many other people. And
Mm.
so, if you resonate with me, if you like what you're hearing, and if you want to hear more, I'd love to chat with you.
And how do people find you online?
Yeah, yeah, you can find me on Instagram.
I'll most certainly put those links in the show notes as
So it's
well, that they can
great.
find at larabiancapilcher.com, because I always do an article with every episode so that people can find and chat to you and all of that. But this has been absolutely beautiful. You're absolutely beautiful. I've loved
Thank you
catching
for
up
your
with
time.
you, and I thank you for your time too. And we'll leave it there.
Yeah, thank you.
Phew, today's masterclass is done. I love reaching back and saying, I've done this, and helping you learn the easy way. If you want more, head to larabiancapilcher.com for show notes, links, freebies, my blog, coaching and courses, and you can also head to my socials, Lara Bianca Pilcher on Instagram and Facebook. I'm also on Twitter and Pinterest. Thanks again for listening. Please leave a review on Apple Podcasts. That would mean the world to me. And of course, keep on living the healthy, wealthy, wise, artist living towards your dream life. Bye, friends. P.S. Shout out to my hottie hubby, Andrew Pilcher, who does all the editing on this podcast.